it till later, but that intro was spicy. But I think for the episodes we're about to do today, it's really freaking fitting.
Oh, really? You
It was
a special intro.
it was extra spicy today. I don't know why, but it's gotta
little
be
crunchy.
Yeah.
A little
Okay.
crunchy.
We weren't
Well-
peaking, but we were getting close.
Welcome to
Hey,
post.
when we're not peeking, we're tweaking, if you know what I mean.
We're hopping right on into it.
Here on Unscripted Gaming's post-scripted, our Gurren Lagann edition. We're finishing the last 3 episodes, boys.
Can I offer up an alternative title I just thought of?
Go
What?
for it.
Unscripted heads are gonna love this one. Unscripted gaming watches X.
X.
No. Oh
Yes,
gosh.
I love it.
That
By,
just- I have opinions there.
by the way, the one hating the good ideas is Ray. The one who gave the good idea is Mike, and the one who loves the good idea, that's me, Josh.
These are very opinionated things you're saying, and you're allowed to have them.
And they're correct too. I mean, it happens, you know.
Oh well.
It's
we'll
one of those
talk about
tastes.
it later.
That's not a loaded question. That's a loaded answer he just gave you. Dang.
Yes.
I didn't know you could load those.
Cock it and pull it.
Bah.
Much like how you can load anti-spiral shotgun shells. Get on, Keycon, click clack.
Hit that
Speaking of
Keaton with that
Keaton.
click clack. Oh man, episode 25. Oh, by the way,
Keaton, finally cool.
spoiler.
Wait a
warning.
minute. Hold no. We'll not have any Keaton hate. You get the hell out of here with that. Keaton has always been holding it down.
It is very telling that this episode's like synopsis on the Gurren Lagann wiki is like 4 paragraphs, but like there's still a lot that happened. Like there's a lot that you can say, but also not a lot that you can say about what happens in this episode.
I want Mike's feedback on, since this is his first time that he watched this episode.
Yes. First of all, I love all of across these episodes,
Mm-hmm.
I love everything we do with the anti-spiral design.
Oh
Yes.
I just think they're really cool and creepy looking. I like how different they are. Ray is well aware that I like things that are weird and don't fit in the context that they're presented in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was just a really cool way to like depict when we see like the kind of head anti-spiral guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just thought that was
you
really cool.
You really get the sense that this is not of Earth. This is not of spiral life. Like this is something other. This is something different.
Yes, exactly. But deep down, it is. And we'll get there. But, yeah, I thought these episodes just in general were really good. I really liked. I think, again, we were sinking into the ocean of despair at this point. Like, we get a really good setup of like the stakes.
Yeah, the ship's gonna get crushed.
Yeah, it's like it's taking on water, which is fun.
Yeah, and the way that obviously you're making up a lot for the just suspension of disbelief of the show, but just like, oh, they're taking all of this, and it is so dense in this area that it is,
the
it is
death
basically
spiral
like
machine. That's right. I'm
Yeah.
looking at like my notes again.
we've got the death spiral machine and just this big thing that is sucking in this space-time fluid into it, and I think they mentioned like previous spiral warriors had gotten this far and then were sucked in by the machine, and someone's like, well, we got to figure something out. We're different. We got this.
They believe they got this.
They believe they got this.
I think. So they never. What did they say the fluid was? It's like anti-spiral fluid, or it's like despair, or like the ocean.
I thought it's literally
like
like space.
space.
It's space. It's like super condensed space time, essentially.
Yeah.
Because there's a funny moment
which
where
is super fun.
where
Like,
Ron, where they said they're flooding, and Ron goes, "Actually, we're more like spacing." And then the guy at the helm's like, "We've got spacing in sections 1." Like he immediately just picks it up, like, "Oh, we're not flooding, we're spacing." And then they're like, "Well, shit, we still do the same thing. Close the bulkheads. We got to stop the space."
I appreciate that team Daigarin, or whatever their new team name is. I guess it's Super Daigarin. They're adapting quickly. They've seen
Yep.
enough.
Yep.
They've seen plenty. Well, like, yeah, sure, whatever.
This is not a situation. This is not a team where they're like, "Oh my god, this is new information. What do we do with it?" They're like, "We learn, we adapt, and we just immediately assimilate it into our current knowledge base, and we move forward with it without question."
Is Simone still like? Yeah, he's still
Yes,
like
he's
doing
still-
the whole little like.
He's still doing the
powering
power up.
thing, right?
Yeah. And I think around this time, he's trying to power up the spiral missiles, and one of his arms breaks, and Viral's like, "God, man, I wish I had some spiral energy to help you do this, but I do not."
Wait, isn't this the part where like, local mascot Buta comes in? And, whoa, and because he's a living creature that's been hanging around Kamina and Simone for so long, he has spiral energy, and he like whoa, and then he gives off spiral energy inside
His
Viral's cockpit.
little tail starts spinning, and Viral's like, "Well, I guess this little
I
pinball's got spiral power."
I
Mike, were you
I-
hooting and hollering at that point? Because
I was hooting and hollering, and then we'll talk about what happened in the next episode soon.
Yes, I knew.
I went Tasmanian Devil. I can't believe you guys kept managed to keep this from me this whole time. But I went feral.
Technically, we'll get to it. Never mind. We'll get to it. All right. So,
but
they're
we
singing
also
into-
yeah,
they're
we've got
singing into
Buta doing this. We also at the same time, we have Gimme and Dari just kind of like having a little bit of an existential crisis. Like they just lost a bunch of their not only just friends, but really for them, some of their most cherished adult role models. And what, 7 of them just died, and they're like, the despair is obviously washing over everybody, and they're talking to Keaton, and they're like, how do you go out there knowing you're going to die? And he's like, basically he's like, you do it because it's the only choice and you want to. He's like, they didn't die because they didn't want to. They did it to save you, and we will do it again, which is going to become a theme here in the next few episodes too. But they're really building towards that in this moment of, hey, sometimes we are going to lose people, but that loss creates something else.
This is also the Keaton King moment, where Keaton walks up and he realizes what like Yoko's plan is, and Yoko's plan is like to shove a spiral missile into the anti-spiral core, which is causing this space-time sea. And Keaton's like, "No, that's not what a man should allow you to do." And he grabs Yoko and just kisses her deeply, and the love triangle finally breaks. Finally, Keaton's like, "Yeah, remember that for when I get back. If I get back."
I'm gonna say something about that love triangle in a minute, but kissing Yoko isn't necessarily a good thing for men. Just
Wait, what? Are you hinting at something?
No, of course not. But just think about the last person to kiss Yoko.
Who was the last person? Wait, it was Kamina.
It was Kamina.
Famously dead
Oh crap!
Kamina.
Oh, I didn't even piece that together.
If you kiss Yoko, you then go die.
She's the touch of death.
Yoko is this secret Black Widow. She's the true anti-spiral.
The true anti-spiral Yoko Littner.
Yes, but we also kind of glossed over the fact that Simone in his infinite wisdom is just like, all right, well, this spiral machine is pulling us in, so let's just fly into it faster and harder than it is able to actually suck us in so we can attack it. And you know what? They're like, all right, we can fly faster than it can suck, so let's just do it. But the first shot missile does not work.
Yeah, good.
And they're like, hey,
good
guys.
call. You got to go in faster than they can. Then
we got to drill into
That'll
it
really
quick.
get them off guard.
Yeah.
That's a good plan. Flawless.
Yep. So,
They'll never see it coming.
yep,
No notes.
No-
Excellent phrasing.
he got to.
Keaton's his what's he call it? The Super Keaton robot or something like that. The Super Keaton. Oh wow, it's been a minute since we saw this episode. We saw this episode like a couple weeks ago. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up on the wiki. King Keaton, the King Keaton. He goes in with the missile and it destroys. It just gets crushed. It's not there anymore. But
This was hype.
the regular Keaton, like gunman, has
Yeah.
one of those tiny missiles that he kept from Yoko's gunman as like a good luck charm, and he blasts right into it and like slams it home, and then he says like some parting last words.
Well, he hits the King Keaton Giga Drill Break, just like, yo.
he doesn't get a drill break.
He does his own. He channels that.
Boom, boom.
This is like when in NBA, to translate for like the NBA fan listeners, this is like when the center on like the biggest guy in your team who shoots like 60% from the free throw line hits a 3-pointer. like this is what if Keaton is hitting the Giga Drill Break, it's over.
Yep, that's just pack up and go home.
You're toast.
Yep.
Just go home, Anti-Spirals. It's over. How you gonna how you gonna let him Giga Drill on you?
His first and only time, and he does it, and he destroys it.
He dunks on him.
And of course, because it's a shonen anime, right on time when he does that, Simone says, "I'm done. I've powered it up," and super. I get these names
Super
confused.
Galaxy Gurren Lagann.
Super die. I guess Galaxy.
yeah.
Gurren Lagann.
The giant galactic battleship has now become the giant galactic Gurren Lagann, and Simone says basically, Keaton, I accept your last wish. Fucking, it's time to go ham on the anti-spiral.
I like that there's a Gurren Lagann the size of the moon rising out of that goo ocean with the glowing green energy.
Oh, yeah.
The giant spike pauldrons.
Simone gets the mega goggles, her like the
Yeah,
star glasses.
star-
Oh yeah, it turns.
He looks
into
like
a giant
Barnacle
star.
Boy from.
No, don't hit him with the SpongeBob.
I mean, I call it as I see it. I don't know who came first, but I mean, come on, that 5-point
Yeah,
star.
Simone's got that.
I'm gonna be honest,
Fit.
I really dig the when the glasses transform into the star glasses. That was like, I dig the really silly transformations in this show, and I especially dig that sort of transformation. By the way, there's something that changed in the actual text again. You guys know how like the title scrolls will like change based on someone's handwriting? At the very beginning it was Kamina, and it changed to Nia's at one point, so on and so forth. The text scroll is now in Simone's handwriting, the last couple ones. Just to let you know who's kind of leading this story from here on out. Anyways, I think that's like the end of that episode.
Yeah, it's a very densely short episode. Like, you know, obviously it's the same 20 minutes as any other episode, but it is really just like we are gearing up for this moment to get out and get to the final battle and saying goodbye to Keaton, and then it's on to episode 26.
Team Gurren just taking so many like personnel L's right there.
Yeah,
So
Team Gurren is liquidating assets very quickly.
it's whittling down. you
They're
know,
spacing
man.
assets.
They are spacing assets.
Uh-oh.
All right, episode 26. They fire Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann. Yeah, fires improbability missiles at the.
This was cool. I love
This whole
as a
episode,
Destiny sucker. Y'all know I love my paracausality nonsense. So I thought this was sick.
anything that alters probability, space time, you know, goes between realms and dimensions. Mike is just giving him his slop.
Especially if it's about like changing the way you think things are going to be or
Yeah.
have been prescribed to be.
Yeah, literally taking
your
what
action.
you have been
Just
fated and
gets
being like,
me.
I think differently, and therefore it is. Oh, so good.
You know, a great Destiny raid DPS section prompt text once said, "Guardians make their own fate, and so does Gurren Lagann."
Yes, it does.
That's how that goes.
What was it? The anti-spirals are firing impossible probability missiles, which the probability that you'll know what's coming from is impossible, which is okay, sure, why not? And Simone counters that by saying, well, if we just fire them everywhere and then stop at the last second and concentrate in this one specific sector, that's where you're gonna be. And you're like, wait, Simone, and then it just works.
Yep.
I love how they just like, I love how in the contrivance of it having to be a readable, enjoyable TV show in 23 minutes or whatever,
Mhm.
they're like, oh, good thing we have an impossible probability radar. So like, it doesn't matter. Like we could be playing like fucking Battleship, but it's just like
Mhm.
it's just like the scope changes, so it's like fun. But
Yep.
it's fun that like they always have the exact thing that they need for the next jump, which
Yep.
is it's just good. I like it. It's fun.
This entire thing becomes like a kind of a weird, like, big battle with the giant robot just shooting missiles everywhere, destroying the anti-spiral planets that were attacking them. Because remember, that's what they're being attacked by, just heavenly bodies with those giant faces. And the
Very
giant
cool.
And
Love the
they're
giant
literally
faces start screaming.
grabbing planets and throwing them at each other, just like. And
Yeah,
obviously, those are the biggest celestial bodies we're gonna battle with in this show, obviously, right? But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, it doesn't get any
throwing
bigger than
planets at each other.
Yeah, that this is as big as it's gonna get.
Yep. And I also love that this entire time the anti-spirals have just been like, yo, bro, you're like, if you win, you're gonna destroy everything. Like, is that really what you want? Are you sure that's what you want? Like, you could just shut the fuck up now and go home and not, destroy the universe. But if not, then I'll kill you. But, maybe you could stop and make it a little easier on us. And just the entire time, they're just jabbing at him, and Team Hydra is like,
absolutely not.
No, yeah. Get wrecked.
I like the anti-spiral trick that they pull on everyone with a functional sentient mind. They put everyone into a comatose dream state. They're like, okay, we probably can't physically beat you via despair, because that's the anti-spiral goal. The only way we'll beat you is to put you into a pit of despair and then beat you, so you'll never rise up again. So we'll put you in your perfect dream state. We'll put you in the world that you believe is the best world possible in your mind. And Simone, it goes back to the beginning of the entire series, and it shows that effigy of Simone like drilling through, just telling a story. Except it's him and Kamina, and they're bank robbers, and that's like,
it's
that's
like
so cool.
I loved the like. Well, first of all, I thought the sequence of like again, this is where you get like the anti-spiral like on board, and everyone kind of like splits out into like all of their different like
probabilities,
fractal probabilities, which is cool, and they're all like, "Oh fuck." Again, anti-spiral guy looks cool and weird. I like the kind of showdown with like Lord Genome. The head of Lord Genome, not actually Lord Genome. They're different. I promise.
Yeah, he's not affected by it because he's not a sentient being. He's technically just a biocomputer.
But he has all the he has the memories of, if not necessarily the same emotions, but he has the memories of the battle 1,000 years ago, and getting sent back to Earth to keep this from happening. And the spiral guy's just like, I mean, was me kicking your ass once not enough? Like, do I have
spiral guy walking by? You looking like a bitch lately? Yeah. Just a hand in a jar looking ass.
Man, how the mighty have fallen. You used to be a mighty warrior. Now look at you, you fucking nerd. He basically just gave him a swirly.
Remember the last time we fought, you had a body? Yeah, I remember that.
Lord Genome, it is more over than previously understood. It could possibly be over for spiral races like yourself.
He is just kind of shit-talking him for a little bit, like unabashedly. I love it.
Also, real quick sidebar, can I tell you how much I would watch the Kamina Simone just bank heist show? I'd watch that show.
They're in that world, and they're just Yeah, that sounds like it would be a fun show. Okay, while Anti-Spiral is, shit talking Lord Genome, we got to talk about what's happening with Buta because he's not a fully sentient being.
Unbelievable.
Mike.
I ca- did you guys remember this was gonna happen?
Oh yeah. Okay, Mike. If you go back and watch the first 2 minutes of the very first episode, you see him.
Oh, because it has like the whole preview of like the big
Yeah,
giant.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that whole opening sequence from the first movie, for the first episode, is basically the crew that we're watching now.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike,
This is
Twink
Mike, would you
Buddha.
care to elaborate what happens with Anti-Spiral, Lord Genome, and our friend Buta?
I'm just going to
The
take a sip of my
anti-spiral's
drink.
about to blast Lord Genome, but the explosion gets countered by yassified Twink Buddha, who's been the twinkiest little twink the entire time. Like, somebody call Sephiroth, like, the level of twink is what we're talking about here. It just out of nowhere, I was like, what the fuck? I was dying. It was too funny.
I like how Lord Genome explains it. Oh, he has so much spiral energy, it's given him human form.
Yeah.
Like, what the
Not
what does that
only does
mean?
he have so much spiral energy, but I have spiral energy, and I'm using it to help him manifest this human form since I cannot. And this is the manifestation of our spiral energy combined, which Anti-Spiral's like, wow, you fucking losers. Now I can control Twink Buta and put him into a singularity paracausal universe as well.
Common Lord Genome L is what I'm trying to say.
It was just super funny. I was just like, I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I forgot.
Wow.
I did legitimately forget that part. The part where the Anti-Spiral says, okay, now he's a fully sentient being as well.
Yeah,
Womp.
so you guys, like, that was a cool trick, but also, beep.
Totally said you activated my trap card.
100%.
And at this point, we think things are real dire because everybody's trapped. Like, it's over. But then, it's Jover. Like, it's real
so
bad,
Jover.
folks. But then again, we see like Simone talking to Kamina. I'm glad that we kind of held back on, like, they did a really good job of saving like Kamina coming back until like this very, like, Kamina really coming back until like this very moment.
And I think, like, for me, the way that this next this part of the episode and like the leading into next episode and like where they go with like loss and growth and everything, I don't think that there has ever been, that I can think of, a better, like, bringing back of a character in a TV show, because it's not like some
he's magically alive again.
Yeah, he's magically alive again or whatnot. Like, there you think about, like, okay, maybe Harry Potter does some pretty similar stuff, but it's like the energy and the being that is Kamina is with Simone. It is with everybody in some way. Maybe it's literally physically in this, multiverse in the spiritual realm, or maybe it's literally just inside of their essences and their beings, because his impact on them was so strong that they were able to eventually resist this power that no other spiral being has been able to resist in millennia. But it is the thing that grounds them enough to be like, oh, I'm not in my reality right now. I am not correct. I need to wake up and continue to use my drill to pierce the heaven, to do what I need to do to finish this.
Can I talk about that Kamina scene where Howie comes back real quick?
Yeah.
I love the way this plays out. I don't like cry about it, but I do get like a little emotional, like a little,
I
a
sobbed
well
the
up.
last 5 minutes of this whole episode. I was misty eyed and tearing the whole time. I was like,
It's up there. It's because like you see that like fake Kamina. He's like they get caught by the police. He's like begging to the ground. He's like, come on, Simone, bow your head, beg, beg, beg. Just live to fight another day. Just lie. Just do whatever you got to. And the real Simone is like sitting on like that treasure, and he's like, you idiot, that's not me. You know that's not me. Beat that guy's head in, which Simone properly does. And when
Like-
Simone does get up after beating him, after like smashing his head and saying, "You're not my bro," or in Japanese, "You're not my Anaki," or something like that. And he stands up and he's the full grown, dripped out Simone.
Yeah.
And Kamina looks at him and says, "Huh, when did you get taller than me? That's really
Yep.
cool."
Like
Anyways, you
Simone,
gotta.
it was all always going to come back to Simone doing the thing, the Kamina punch to Kamina himself to
Yep.
grow past him. It was always going
Oh,
to come
yeah.
to that. And it was cool to see that. Like,
he had
And I.
one last lesson, one last thing to get from Kamina to really get to that full next step for him, and it was so nice for him to be like, hey, this is how I got here, and this is how I'm going to go to the next stage. And even Kamina's projections, like, until the next time, and he's like, no, you're like, Simone just says like, no, you're here with me still the entire time. Just, oh God,
I love that when Simone just uses his core drill that he realizes he's had this whole time, and then he turns into like this, ephemeral shooting star blasts across the sky. But
this was hype. This
it
sequence
was like
good.
transcending time and space, and all the other characters are living like their perfect life. Can I talk about Viral's perfect life?
oh my
Oh.
God.
He's just with his like beast woman wife, and he's got his beast woman daughter, and he's like playing with her and loving her, and sets her down, and he looks up in the sky, and all he says is, "Yeah, this just was a dream the whole time." And then he does that virile grin, and then he just bursts into energy and blasts off as well.
It's
Like-
too good.
Like, he knew that he could not be, like, there's no scenario where he could be that just happy and carefree. Like, he knows that so deeply about himself that he's like, yeah, this was too nice. I fucking knew it. Pew, into the sky again.
Exactly. That's so not only like heartbreaking, but so in character for that guy.
Yep.
He knows that Lord Genome fucked him up. Like he died. And the fact that his perfect envisionment of a world is just a very, very happy, normal life that he knows he'll never have, that's both heartbreaking and just so sad. But
Yeah.
also so hype because of that toothy grin that he
Yep.
gave. Like, it's gonna be alright. And I love all of it. I love the way Yoko was just like this like superhero vigilante, and she's also a movie star. And even she sees that shooting star across the sky, and she's like, "No, it was never like that."
This
And
ain't me.
no, she turns off a TV. She turns off that TV.
Oh, yeah.
Where her and Keaton are getting married. It's showing their marriage, and she's like, "No, that's not real." And Kamina like holds the TV down and just smiles, and then she just blasts off. And, I love everything about that entire thing where everyone's coming to the realization that
Yep.
this isn't real. This is too good.
I'm
There's
looking at
something we have to
I'm
do.
looking at the Wikipedia, and there's just a still of that scene with Kamina and Simone standing next to each other, and I'm literally getting goosebumps just looking at it, just like, oh,
Good.
it was so good.
I love that realization that Simone remembers Kamina so much that he realizes, like, yeah, I am a little bit taller than you. Isn't that funny? It's the small
Yeah.
little things. You think this really stupid giant robot anime wouldn't take small little details like that to intersperse them? There are a whole series of Gundam that don't take small details like this.
Yep.
It's wonderful. And I think after they all get back, they all like have that realization. The thing happens, doesn't it? That well, no, not yet.
No, so everybody goes into the ethereal plane, and then they're all blasting back, and then we cut to Anti-Spiral getting ready to kill Nia, and
Oh,
basically
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you
Mhm.
disobeyed me, but it all worked out. But I need to kill you anyway because your job is done and you sucked anyway. And she's kind of resisting, and then all of a sudden, wham, wham, wham. Her ring is glowing green. All of a sudden, we got Gurren Lagann just in the space there, and end of episode.
I love how everyone like slams down with their legs are now all formal drills
So
now.
that's the start of episode 27.
Is that the
So
start? Okay, I'm sorry.
episode 26 just ends with Gurren Lagann busting out of her ring, and then it's the episode, and then the next one is Nia. Nia and Anti-Spiral getting a little more in depth with that moment of him like, I don't need to know, I don't need to understand, I just need to know. Because she's like, you're never gonna understand why this worked and why they are who they are and whatnot. He's like, I don't need to understand, I just need to know, and it's not the point. And then again, womp womp, they
Womp womp.
Gurren Lagann
Wom,
bumps out,
baby.
and then all of Team Dagran shuts down with the spiral drills on their legs to start episode 27.
I love the weird juxtaposition of just like they don't have legs anymore. They have poor drills where their lower half should be. It's weird, it's funny, it's cartoonish, but it's also like in parallel that they all have some form of spiral energy and they've all manifested it to where they can summon drills now. And that freaks out the anti-spiral guy for a little bit. Just like you see him like taking a back step to that. Because I guess if it's like Lord Genome, only one of those heroes were like the spiral heroes. Maybe he's not expecting all of them to be a spiral hero. I don't know. Make of that what you will. All right, I think that's when the thing happens, when they all like combine into Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, or big as a galaxy Gurren Lagann. It's got the giant dragon knee pads, the huge dragon shoulder pads, growing with flame. If you look at the chest, you see Lasgarin's face on top of the chest.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, basically, Gurren Lagann is engulfed by Arc Gurren Lagann, and which is engulfed by Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann, and then they all get into it, and they get energy from the galactic abyss, and then they become Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
Now, this thing is half the size of a galaxy, or at least 1/4 the size. That's the
Mhm.
scales we're talking.
Pretty sure they're just standing on like some like they're literally
Yeah.
standing on a galaxy.
They're standing on a spiral galaxy.
Yeah.
Which is super hype. So I made a mistake before. I said last episode to Mike that the last episodes 26 and 27 were some of the best anime I've ever seen. What I meant was episode 26 and 27 in movie format, because the second movie of Gurren Lagann completely redoes this scene. We won't talk about it yet, but the anime version is still very good, because the anti-spiral guy, he says, well, I guess we're back to Project Despair, so I'm going to transform into a Tengen Toppa anti-spiral Gurren Lagann.
I'm just gonna start whipping galaxies at you, son.
Oh, that's so cool when there's like
Yeah.
big tendrils just like grab two barrel galaxies and like whip them at them like they're discuses.
And I love that he takes, I think it's called the Grand Zen Boma, and they're like, what's he doing? And Lord Genome's like, dude, he wants to beat you in the way that you are most familiar with to make you most despair. So he's basically, taken the shape of a gunman, of a Gurren Lagann to fight you and absolutely humiliate you in front of your friends.
Also, he one of his attacks is he takes a bunch of galaxies, wraps them around, and compresses the energy and forms a miniature Big Bang. Which I love it. I wish to be a fly on the wall in that storyboarding room where you have one crazed artist just says, and then he makes the Big Bang in his hand. Oh, I
Boss,
love it.
just trust me, boss. Watch what I'm about to put to paper.
I love how in that fight scene when they're standing on opposite ends of that spiral galaxy, and the first couple seconds of the fight is just them done, and they just start running, and then they both go into a full sprint. And then eventually they
Yeah.
just form giga drill bricks and just slam against each other.
They're all just they're bashing into each other.
Again, I know that I had always kind of heard about this anime, like, hey, the scale gets crazy.
Retrospect.
And yeah, they were right. I remember we were just trying to dig ourselves out of a cave, and now we're here throwing literal galaxies at each other. We're just having fun. It's funny. I like it. It's good. I
They
endorse.
I like the part, and Mike, I thought you might have liked this part based on your comments, based on the movie, Marvel's movie, The Eternals. 2 hours and 40 minutes. That wasn't a waste of my life. It was.
Mm.
Where they accidentally rip open a hole in the pocket dimension and they accidentally see Earth because they're envisioning Earth as they're fighting the battle. And,
Yes.
and so the anti-spiral, half a galaxy-sized mecha just starts reaching in to try to crush Earth, and it just his visage and form is taking up the entire atmosphere.
Yeah, that was cool. Like it's like all across the skies, and that was super sick. I also loved how like the anti-spiral home world is like
Oh
in
yeah.
in like its head
Mm-hmm.
of the anti-spiral mech thing, and it's like you get at the site where they like enclosed the planet and like put everybody in stasis to because they are a spiral species deep down.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, whoa, that was cool.
They abandoned everything about them that makes them want to grow or to excel. They only wish to slumber at the state that they're at, to not destroy the. They even gave up their form, their figure, their different details about their bodies. They're all like a singularity consciousness. If that's what it would take to keep the galaxy from being destroyed, all right, guess we're gonna wreck this bitch.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
The
that moment.
anti-goos are
yeah, I
at
was
it
about to
once
say,
again.
Grogu Mike though would be anti-spiral.
Yeah,
That's right.
he would be
The
a
arrogance of
anti-spiral
man to
sympathizer.
think that we know what is best, you know. But I bet if we were all goo together, we could figure it out. I'm just saying.
I love, and I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for the heel turn of Mike to say, you know, the anti-spirals are kind of spitting.
They, they're kind of spitting. I don't know.
Just like, man, maybe Gurren Lagann isn't the good guys in this show after all.
The anti-spirals don't have a spiral problem. They have a PR problem.
It, gosh, I do
You
now. Real talk. I love the way this show is written because they do make it so like the anti-spirals aren't necessarily wrong. You have to put a lot of faith into the hubris of sentient life to not do exactly what the anti-spirals say we're absolutely probably going to do.
It's very much the entirely opposite. It's not like the same coin as Evangelion because there's a lot of other
Mhm.
stuff going on, but like very much like the other side of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind
Like-
of they're both in some way trying to achieve the same goal. It's just how they're getting there. And
It's like humans are dumb and bad. Oh, yes, they are. Versus, well, maybe we're not.
or maybe we are,
a
but
drill.
but we also aren't dumb enough to completely like implode the entire universe. Like, let us
Yeah.
have the chance to actually
Find out.
figure it out rather than just saying no, you cannot exist.
Exactly.
Can I take this moment to talk about how the movie transitions this? Because in the movie, which is expensive, it's in print, but you can only get it from one website in the United States. It's Right Stuff Anime, and you have to buy the box set if you want to get it. It's a little pricey. It's about $150. If you really love the series and you really want to see some of the best animation I've seen in anime, then totally watch the movie. But in it, they start losing that fight when the two Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagans are fighting. And so Simon has a point where he absorbs the core drill of Lasgaren. I won't get into how that happens. It's a whole thing. And they turn into Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. And what that involves is it's a giant thing, bigger than all the galaxies, bigger than the spiral galaxy. I sent Mike and Josh a picture. Its big toe is the size of Tengen Toppa anti-spiral Gurren Lagann. And it just stands there, and it has a cape and glasses, and it's Kamina. It's Kamina! The size
Mhm.
of multiple galaxies in this green form, and everyone inside their mecha suits. Maybe this is why they don't air it many places. No, that's fine. Everyone inside their mecha suits is like completely buffed out. Like Simone is just hulked out, full of muscle, and they're all naked now because they're all in their true selves. They're not even wearing clothes, and even Simone's hair is big and Saiyanned out. And so when they fight, as opposed to trying to fight each other, they both form Giga Drill Breaks, which when they combine and they fight with each other, because of course the anti-spiral forms his own Super Tengen Toppa and anti-spiral Gurren Lagann, and they both form Giga Drill Breaks. It forms the infinity symbol, and then it causes its own Big Bang, and it recreates the universe. And then as the good guys lose, they lose that Giga Drill Break, but then the other Gurren Lagann, the Galaxy one, Dai Super Tengen Toppa. Josh, you'll have to help me out with one. The one the size of the moon. Um, they slam him with a Giga Drill Break. Then Arc Gurren slams it with a Giga Drill Break. And then finally Gurren Lagann himself slams it with a Giga Drill Break. And they're able to beat it all. And as Simone punches the shit, like physically punches the anti-spiral guy, Simone forms his own Giga Drill on his hand, and then kills the anti-spiral. And the anti-spiral says, "If this is the thing that must happen, please just protect the universe." And
Yeah.
Simone stares right in the camera and says, "Of course we will. We're not fucking stupid." Then the anti-spiral explodes.
Stay hating, Simone. Respect. Stay a hater.
Going to Josh's point of sentient beings, humans in this case, they just want the chance. Like, just give us the chance. We won't screw up.
Oh, I like Lord Genome's kind
I
of
say,
sacrifice.
We buried the
and
lead here
also-
because Lord Genome has a body again.
Oh
And
yeah.
he shows up on the screen, and Simone's like, "Lord Genome, you have a body." He's like, "Yo, we're in fucking paracausal space here. Anything is possible." So I was able to manifest a body because I thought about it. And I think it's when the anti-spiral is throwing the Big Bang, he's like, "Yo, I got this." Also, if you notice, in the first part of the show, I think the chest hair on Lord Genome is like a triangle, but
Yeah.
in this new body, it's a nice big old spiral, right, where he got
is.
fucking
Mhm.
TKO'd.
Where he got his back blown out. That's
But-
right. Never forget.
But Lord Genome, out of Arc Teppen Token Gurren Lagann,
It's hard to keep track.
It's hard. The big one. You
The
know
big
what?
one?
Lazengon, obviously
biggie bag.
Lazengon's coming back. So we've got Lord Genome's Lazengon, fucking his little mini drills out there, just pew 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 pew. And just when he thinks that he is defeated, or Anti-Spiral thinks he has defeated Lord Genome's like, "You've activated my trap card," and he takes all the energy and turns it into a giant drill with his face on the front. He's like, "Simone, eat me!"
Yes.
And Tengen
that
Toppa
gives him-
Gurren Lagann eats the drill and gets even more powerful to continue to fight the anti-spiral.
I also love Lord Genome being like, "Nia, I'm sorry that I was bad.
Yeah. Sorry, I was an asshole.
Sorry
He
about
does
that."
apologize that one last
Yeah.
bit.
Better late than never, I guess.
We should point out that Nia in this fight says something to Simone. She says, like, once the anti-spirals are gone, there'll be no use for me, period. And Simone's like questions her, and she says, "But it's okay." And Simone just like shakes his head and like understands, and a knowing nod or something like that. They give you this little hint of
Little taste of
things
what's happening.
to come. Yeah. Well, they win. I love that part where the part I was describing before, where they're doing the Giga Drill Breaks to try to stop the anti-spirals, and at the very last one, Viral and a gunman takes off Lagann and throws it. And Lagann forms his own Giga Drill Breaks. and smashes into the anti-spiral.
One thing too before we get to that point too, I like that like the fight's not necessarily going well for Team Daigren. Like they're getting a couple hits in, but it's not going super well. And the singularity space opens up and they get a view of Earth. And Antispiral's like, "Yo, that's your homeworld, right? I can't wait to fuck it up." And they're like, "No, okay, we can't do this." And we even get a shot of some folks on Earth basically seeing this paracausal entity in the sky fighting, and they're like, this isn't good. And then we've got the lasso and the probability missiles, and then the Russian Nesson doll giga drills until we get to the very end.
You know what I love about that? This entire transition of like where they're breaking down into the smaller Gurren Lagann. It's like you start the anime of every single problem can be solved by just making the robot bigger. This was the last problem where they solved it by making it as small as possible. There's that lovely end piece transition to that. It's could not have written it better myself.
Yep. And I love, and this is kind of what they've been building to, obviously, throughout the whole show, but especially in the last few episodes of, like, the real true crux of Spiral Power is who came before and who will come next. And this melding of the previous generation, those we've lost, versus those who are rising, those who have yet to be, and the way that those two groups interact and shape each other in one way or another. And that is the true crux, the true force behind Spiral Power, of just knowing who we are and who we will be, and marrying those two together in a perfect harmony. Like, it was.
I love the way Simone says it. That's what a drill is. A drill goes further and further, and he's talking about humans procreating, and then their children procreating, and then their children procreating. We're going further and further, and that's how you punch through the heavens. Is you spiral up.
Yep.
It's not a physical punch.
I also like how the DNA is a spiral, but also the universe is a spiral.
They show that so many times, and I love when
George every
does
time. That. I love it. I'm like, those things are the same, and that's crazy.
Everything is spiral.
It spirals all the way down, okay, and that's
all the way up.
Spirals feel.
That's how spirals work.
Yeah, I like how Simone like almost insinuates that he's God, but he's not really God. But like, this is how I get godlike power. So let's go.
Is Simone a god temporarily?
He has a moment of godhood.
In the movie, the answer is yes. For a full 2 minutes, Simone ascends to God. It's fun while it lasts. Because real quick, back to the movie. The movie Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann is a Kamina. It's just Kamina. But when they do the Giga Drill break, it turns into Simone. Like the robot's face morphs into Simone. I don't know what to make of that. I found it cool. Maybe that's actually Simone. Maybe it's just artistic thing. Whatever. Let's talk about the last end of this episode. You have they get a radio signal from apparently all the spiral species from across the galaxy, and they say like, "Hey, you beat the anti-spirals, hooray!" And they hear cheering from across the galaxy. How'd they get the radio frequency? Shut up. That's how.
Spiral life is always connected. You've always got them digits.
You have your history and your future. Just
Yep.
All right there.
Just in your phone. On the.
Yeah, I just love Rossy. Like, they're like, "Yo, we're getting messages from all over the galaxy. Like, let's go."
Shut up. That's how. Then they go back to Earth, and Simone and Nia get married. And immediately Nia fades away into nothingness.
R.I.P. in peace.
Yeah, it's that
Simone,
message.
single. And available.
Most eligible bachelor.
Most eligible spiral life form.
I felt kind of sad for Simone the very first time I watched Gurren Lagann, because they do a fast forward shift of like 20 or 16 years. and it shows Simone just kind of like walking on the beach, just like a normal ass guy, and he's still single. He never remarried or anything like that. He just never got back into government work. Barely anyone like knows who he is. There's this kid on the beach that sees him, doesn't even recognize who he is, and Simone just helps him cut open a coconut so he could drink from it. He's like, yeah, I get. Simone actually asked the question, "Who the hell do you think I am?" And then as the kid is like ignoring him to drink the coconut, Simone answers, "I guess I'm kind of nobody." And when I was younger and I saw that, I felt bad for him. But now that I'm a bit older, I'm like, yeah, that's actually like so poetic. Simone found peace. He found the little peace that he needed. When you when you go to the point where you ascend to godhood and you saved the entire galaxy, yeah, I guess the question is, what's left? Yeah, chill, relax, help kids open coconuts. It's cool. It's whatever. You see Viral, my man Viral, he became commander of the space force that Earth has now.
Yeah,
Ginny,
yeah. Gimme got the cordial from Simone at the wedding, and is now the pilot of Gurren Lagann with Dari, and they're getting ready to lead the Grapparals into space with the envoys to the the Spiral Galactic Convention.
You have Rossiu, who's still old man Rossiu, who for some reason is in charge of the government. I want to point out this man was okay with genocide not 20 years ago. You might want to stay your hand about giving him.
Can we also talk about how Rossiu threw Simone in jail, was gonna have him executed, and then like 2 days later is officiating his wedding?
I'm so sorry. That's wild. That's hilarious.
I know Simone forgave him, but a little bit too much forgiveness. You know?
There's forgiveness, and then there's like, all right, come on, bro. You don't have to like over
It's
exaggerate.
just being down catastrophic.
Mm-hmm. I shout out to Viral, who I do like Viral's ending. I like him a lot. The complete heel turn of being an absolute Dorfist dweeb bad guy. The standard issue like jobber, communist jobber, to he gets to spend the rest of his. I guess he's not gonna die. I guess he gets to spend the rest of his eternity talking with anti-spirals or leading anti-spiral forces. That's cool.
Though I think his new haircut sucks. His 20-year haircut sucks ass. Like, I know you've got an eternity to like do things with your hair, but it doesn't have to look like a fucking loser.
He has an eternity to tell everyone how big it was.
He's got the I'm good at Smash Bros haircut.
He does have. Oh no. Goodness. And Buta. I don't know how long Pigmoles live, but Buta's still with Simone. I forget what happened to Yoko. Oh, she's a teacher.
Yeah,
that's right.
She becomes
on the island.
She went back to the island. She became the principal on that island, and she's just hanging out. She does say that there's this. The kids mentioned something about a spiral nemesis, so obviously everything isn't 100% peachy keen, but the things are going well for Team Daiguren and their some retirement and some not.
The shot of the Kamina grave still gets me. It still works.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Time.
The Kamina grave with the little Nia statue, and then the fact that he added extra memorials for all the team members of Team Daiguren who died during the final fight. That got me. I was misting eyes bad at that scene.
What works so great about the Kamina grave is they only show it, I think, like 4 times throughout the rest. You have so many opportunities to keep showing it, but they're really restrained about it.
Yes, and yeah, I think that's what also makes when Kamina comes back in the previous episode so impactful is like they talk about his death a lot, but they don't dwell on the iconography of it. It becomes a story, or it becomes something of like, God, what would that guy do? The way that Keaton talks about him, like, what would that guy do? But they don't just keep going back to like, look at his grave, remember that he is dead. Like they save that really powerful stuff that it really truly motivates everybody in the story in a way that makes it so much more impactful.
Well, I guess the last question to ask is, the Mike, what did you think? Your full watch of
Yeah,
Gurren Lagann.
final thoughts. I think I've kind of given. I feel like this impression is not a surprise. I liked it. I
Alright.
think it's really fun. I definitely appreciate that this one's a bit more like kind of Saturday morning flavor than like Evangelion, which is a bit more like sad time.
Yeah.
So I thought that was fun. I just, so I appreciated that. I wish the first half of this show was better than it is,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also extremely necessary to get the enjoyment out of to get for the second part of the show to really hit is you need the first part.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate being like it gets good eventually kind of person, because
No one likes to
it
say
just should
that,
just
right?
be
Yeah.
good. It should just be good all the time, if it's a good show or whatever.
I also think that you have to also think back to the context of when it originally came out and
mhm.
who the target the target audience
Yeah,
is skews a
definitely.
little younger and in the late early 2000s. So obviously you take that with a little grain of salt. But yeah, going back in your 30s watching it for the first time, that first half is like, I mean, yeah, that's a cool little like weird robot anime, but like, what is the other shit that everybody's talking about?
I don't want this to come. I'm gonna say this, and I don't care. This feels like a show I would. I encountered this on the Fox 4 Kids block, I would have
Yeah.
loved the heck out of it. And just thinking about like the 4 Kids version of Gurren
Oh
Lagann
gosh.
is cracking me up.
The 4K. Oh my gosh, the editing that they would have done. Oh, that's so gross. I think it originally aired in the United States on like Toonami, and that was the only way you could watch
I think
it.
so.
Which, to be fair, if you're gonna watch it anywhere, that was probably the best. That's
Yep.
where I got my Gundam Wing. I will never hate Toonami because it gave me the Gundam Wing. Bless. Josh,
right.
How was your final thoughts on this rewatch?
It similar to Mike's. Like the first half was still enjoyable, and I think partially because I knew where it was going, but some of that is also colored by like I forgot some of it or just forgot the impact of it.
Okay.
So I enjoyed the first half, but not probably as much as I did when I was younger. But the second half of the show hit me in a way that I enjoyed even more than I did when I first watched it. Like being an adult, being somebody who, I mean, when I was watching this in 2007, 2008, like I had dealt with some loss, but I was so young that I hadn't had like the language to really understand like what I had done with or to understand living with loss for decades. And like
Mhm.
now that I have lost some close friends and close family and they have been gone 10, 12, 14 years, like, one of my best friends has been gone almost as long as he was in my life. Same thing for my dad. It's like the way that they talk about the past and the future, the way they talk about how things shape you, the becoming a father and watching I can't remember his name, but one of the Team Daiguren members, like, I just had a kid, but I have to go do this, and it may be the last thing I do, but it is the best thing to make sure that my new daughter has a chance at life. Like,
Mhm.
it was so incredibly impactful, and like I'm not being facetious when I say I cried several times and got misty-eyed even more throughout the last half of this show for one reason or another, and it's because it hit me in all the right spots. And again, there are problems with it. There are things from the way they depict Yoko and women and whatnot, and sometimes it's supposed to you think it's supposed to be in a subversive way, but it ends up not coming across that way. And it still does the shonen anime of like, oh, we're here to appeal to the male gaze, but beyond the male gaze, G-A-Z, not G-A-Y-S, different word there. One of those is Buta, the other one is Yoko, so But no, taking that aside, the ultimate ending in that second half, like, I enjoyed it even more now than I did when I first watched it.
Well, excellent,
Wow,
sir.
right on.
I guess my last thoughts are, I love it every time I watch it. I think this is if you count the movies, this is my third time watching it, and you always pick up on those little pieces along the way. Small little things, small little artistic details. The show just gets better every time I watch it. I love giant robots. If you were to look back here and see how much gunpla I got, you can see I am a fan of giant robot anime. This is still one of my top 10 at the very least, and it'll never not be my top 10. It's not like military robotics. It's the fight of the human spirit, and there happens to be a giant robot involved.
And just who do you think I am?
Just who the hell they think we are.
I know it gets kind of a bad. Some people say it's kind of a weird anime, or maybe bad because it's all about male testosterone bonding. Like, there's very little like female connection in there. This show fails the Bechdel test so hard, it might as well not even have tried. You know what I mean? If that's the type of show you're looking at,
Yeah.
It's like, it's not that type of show. This show was literally geared at telling, specifically young men, to bond with each other, to stay with each other, and not give up. Just do the right thing, and that's always a message worth hearing. And if you could do it with giant robots, all the better.
Yeah. I definitely think if Gurren Lagann is made in 2023, they tell the story a little differently. But 20 years before you really get a good, like, hey, men should care about each other and men should support each other and men should remember each other, like, that was the best language that was available at the time. And you tell that story again now, you are more inclusive. You tell it in a different way that is less toxic, but still like, you get to have the fun giant robots and big giga drills and blah blah blah. But yes, I
got a question.
Yes,
I kind of love the toxicity of Kamina. I feel like the toxicity of Kamina is a vibe that needs to happen, because he's an idiot. But that's okay, because he dumbasses his way into all the problems, and that's part of the comedy of the show. Like, every dumb idea Kamina has is because he's a fucking moron. Like, the whole reason Gurren Lagann exists is because Kamina had the idea of slam. He slams Lagann on top of his gunman. No one asked him to do that. He just wanted to imitate Viral because Viral looked like
had two
he did
faces.
it.
No, and I think Kamina.
Wow.
I think Kamina stays the same. I think Simone's
Much to think
takeaways and
about.
growth from him happens a little differently. Like, oh, I see what Bro was doing, but Bro wasn't all the way there, and here's how I can make it better. But, like, Kamina, if you tell the story in 2023, Kamina has to stay Kamina. And then everybody else grows differently from that.
There's a toxic element to Kamina where the biggest way he gets Simone out of, like, an anxiety attack is he just punches the shit out of him and says, "Let me see you grit those teeth," and decks him as hard as possible, so hard he does a flip inside Lagann. And then Simone doing the exact same thing to Rossio, like, 7 years later. If you want to have a conversation of that's probably not how you get someone out of an anxiety attack, that's probably a little too toxically male, sure, we can have that conversation. In that moment, though, I kind of dig it. I'm not going to lie, I kind of loved it.
You got to try that one first, and then you can do the other stuff.
All right, anyways. Yeah, Mike, I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad we didn't waste your time.
Yeah, that's post-scripted Gurren Lagann. So
Do I have to pick the next show?
Yeah, actually, I'm done with it.
We'll have an offline discussion on when the
Interesting.
next postscripted is. We will also probably be getting back to
We gotta talk about some video games.
some
It's been a minute.
traditional unscripted gaming now that we've gotten
Yeah.
through this marathon and
Yo, the new Zelda came out. We got
Yeah.
a lot to say.
video
Be
games
making
are happening
thingamajigs and
again.
doodads,
We got
folks.
through the holidays, so it's probably time to get back to unscripted gaming. And you know where you can keep up with all the happenings here at Unscripted Gaming?
No.
Where's that?
unscriptedgaming.com. You can find links to all of our happenings on the internet, all of our different shows. You can follow us on Facebook at Unscripted Game Podcast. You can follow us on the Bird app at unscript_gaming. You can get us on soundcloud.com/unscripted-gaming. There you can find all of our audio versions across every podcatcher. And also, if you like to see our faces, you can find us on YouTube. Thanks for listening to Unscripted Gaming. My name is Josh.
My name is Ray.
My name is Looney Tunes ass defeated viral mech.
Peace.